All right, dudes, let's make a song. I'm gonna be working in my digital audio workstation of choice is Propellerhead Reason. I'm working on version 10.0. That's the latest version that's got everything that I need, and the reason why I choose this one is because it's what I feel most comfortable and familiar with, or that I want to get the most creative with, and I'm there's less roadblocks in the way when I'm trying to create something. I use other DAWs for various things, but if I'm getting creative and making music, Reason is my choice. So that's what I'm going to be doing things in. Now, if you're like me and you're a bedroom music producer and you're working on a tune, you don't really have other people to work with. You're not in a band, so inspiration has got to come from somewhere else. So I'm a big fan of having the old reference track. So I'm using this new Weekend tune, Save Your Tears, as like my reference. I'm inspired by this song. I think it's cool. It's got the a nice catchy everything happening, and a good song structure. And I'm just going to use this as a guide. So I'm importing that into my session in Reason, and I'm going to use that as a guide for me when I'm start creating things. What I want to do though is come in here and zoom in real close to start off, and I'm gonna, this first part about getting started is all going to be just about identifying, elements of my reference track, and then setting up myself to start creating in a similar fashion. So I'm zooming in real close, and I'm going to use the razor tool here to and disable snap so I can cut something. And I'm just going to get rid of this stuff and move this to the very beginning of my session if possible. Put the snap back on and then zoom out again. So I'm looking at, the whole song at this point. I'll zoom in a little bit closer. And what I need to do now is do a little bit of like a tempo map. And the easiest way to do that in Reason is make sure you right click and you're going to disable the stretch function. And then we're really just going to listen back and we're going to tap the tempo. And then we're going to wind up creating one around the tempo of our reference track. So let's go ahead and do that. So you see, when I was doing that, the time, the stretchiness of the track was sort of moving around for a little while as it sort of figured out. But by the time I went through 2 bars of tapping the tempo, it had sort of figured it out. So you can check those things by turning your click on and then playing back again and seeing how it all lines up. So that's a solid 118, and it's solid the entire way through. I can tell you from already listening to this song a bunch of times. And speaking of, I did listen to it a bunch of times, and I made all these mental notes about sort of like the structure of this tune. I think everybody has a different opinion on how you sort of name different sections of an arrangement and everything like that. But according to my knowledge and just the language that I wanted to use based on what I was hearing in this tune, sort of wrote down a basic, well, this is how many bars are each little section of this song. Now I use, when I'm looking at Reason, some people make use of that block mode, and I've never really found it particularly useful in the compositional way that it was intended for. But it is useful if you want to make it like set markers for particular areas of the song. So instead of like creating in block mode, I really just use it to name certain sections of my tune. So if I look at my notes here, the intro is 4 bars long, right? So we're going to rename this. I got to do it here. Forgetting. So this is going to be our intro. Cool. Moving on to block 2. Let's see if we can change the color on this. There we go. Let's make it something significantly different. We'll go lemon. And again, if we look at the song structure, so I've got intro, verse, pre-chorus. So let's call this the verse. Move on to another. Again, I think I'm just going to go for a little bit more of an obvious change in color. Let's go Kelly, green. This is going to be pre-chorus. Yikes. Brown? I don't think so. We'll go sky blue. This is our bridge. And then finally there's going to be the chorus. So these should be all the different sections of the song that we've got going on. So let's see. Intro, verse, pre-chorus, bridge, chorus. Let's just make sure that I got everything that I think I need. Awesome. So now it's going to be going back to the song view and then sort of like laying out those blocks to create an arrangement of visually of song structure and arrangement. So I know by listening, because of my notes, and again because I've heard the song so many times, that the intro is 4 bars long. Let's see. Turn off the click. And then we're into the verse. All right, so I want to draw in a block. There's my intro. Let's draw in another, is 8 bars this time. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. But which block is it going to be, right? So you just have the little drop down right here, and you can just change this to your verse. So let's listen to it in real time. Intro into verse. Here's what I'm calling the pre-chorus. Back to the verse. Now this next part had me tripped up a little bit when I was deciding what to call it. Sounds like a bridge to me. It would normally be where the chorus goes, but I haven't heard that yet. This is the hook in the chorus. There's my bridge, and here was my chorus. And I'm just using QWERTY like Q and W to switch back and forth between the selector and the pencil tool here. So here's another bridge. This one's a little bit longer this time. All right, here's something really different. This is the breakdown, as I was calling it. I didn't create a section for my breakdown. Change that name in a minute. Back to the chorus. A couple extra variations of this, right? And then it's just over. So that was our last chorus, and we kind of doubled it up there. I might do something like trim the end of this, and I need to go back and rename this one. So this was my breakdown. And then back in song mode. So I'm not really using that blocks stuff as a compositional tool, but I'm using it as like markers and arrangement visually, because it kind of highlights the whole background of area throughout my arrangement, and it's going to help me visually there. So this is the way that I get started, because and I don't think there's any shame in this reference track deal. You know, some people might be like, well, this is why we have robotic sounding music, or why there's no change. But I mean, it can be argued that every piece of music is derived from inspiration from another piece of music. So this is just giving me a guide to what's current and what's popular. If you're watching this, you know, when the weekend is cool, and it's going to give me just a guide to go in a particular direction. And I'll bet throughout the creation process, we're going to wind up deviating pretty significantly from this source material. But now we're set up and ready to go. So we'll continue starting to work on the song as we go. Maybe you can work on something along with me. So I'll see you next time.